Hello everyone. This is April Showers of the April Showers Network, where we have DRT Radio FM, The Truth Radio, Leap of Faith Ministries, author Terrence Patillo, coming soon, author Teresa Collins. We follow MCDE on Mixcloud and Homestyle Music Group. We also follow B Sparrow Talk on YouTube, and we follow K Judah Show on YouTube. Today I want to talk about Malcolm X. Today is his birthday, and we will be remembering Malcolm X. Malcolm X was an African-American Muslim minister and human rights activist who was a prominent figure during the civil rights movement. He was also a spokesman for the Nation of Islam until 1964. He was a vocal advocate for black empowerment and the promotion of Islam within the black community. Malcolm X was assassinated February the 21st, 1965, in the Audubon Ballroom. He had a spouse, Betty Shabazz. He had children, Malika, Jamila, Lombada Shabazz, Eliza Shabazz, Quabala Shabazz. They have found out that Malcolm X death, that the government was involved in his assassination. The FBI involvement in the cover-up of Malcolm X assassination. So, FBI agents are forced to study the lessons of the agency's past abuse. This article came out November 22nd, 2021, when in New York City, a state court judge dismissed the first-degree murder convictions of two men who each served more than 20 years in prison for the 1965 killing of Malcolm X. One of those wrongly convicted men wasn't even allowed to hear the government apologize. Cyrus R. Vance Jr., the current Manhattan District Attorney, offered an apology on behalf of law enforcement, which he stated failed the family of two men. The exonerations of Muhammad A. Aziz, now 83, and Khalil Islam, who died at 74 in 2009. So 56 years after the murder of the fiery African-American minister and the former spokesman for the black nationalist group, the Nation of Islam, the exonerations of Muhammad A. Aziz, now 83, and Khalil Islam, who died at 74 in 2009, leaves us with more questions than answered, especially questions related to the conduct of law enforcement agencies. Previous suspects who were arrested are dead, so we shouldn't limit ourselves to asking who did it. The bigger question is, why was the truth suppressed? A 22-month joint investigation by Vance's office, lawyers for Aziz and Islam, the Innocent Project, and civil rights attorney David A. Shaney revealed that prosecutors, the New York Police Department, and the FBI withheld evidence that would likely have led to the two men's acquittal. Their findings seem to support what a third man convicted in the shooting death of Malcolm X had been saying all along, that Mujahid Abdul Halim, an 80-year-old former member of the Nation of Islam, confessed in open court that he was one of the killers, but he also empathetically asserted that Aziz and his Islam was not the other men involved. Now, ain't that a shame? This man told him that these other two men was not involved. While the recent investigation led to formal exonerations, the credit for prompting the government's action or maybe publicly shaming officials into action belong to amateur historian, activist, and investigative journalist Abdul Rahman Muhammad, whose Netflix docuseries Who Killed Malcolm X explored glaring gaps in the case. Some of the investigative findings that led officials to conclude that Aziz and Islam were wrongly convicted include FBI documents implicating other Nation of Islam suspects and lessening suspicions about Islam and Aziz, then known respectively as Thomas 15X Johnson and Norman 3X Butler. State's prosecutor notes revealed a failure to disclose the presence. Now get this, everyone. The presence of undercover officers at the time of the shooting. They had undercover officers at the time of the shooting that was there at that ballroom. NYPD files documenting that a New York Daily News reporter received a call the morning of the shooting from someone indicating Malcolm X would be murdered. And they didn't even inform anybody. What a shame. An interview of a still living witness who continued to confirm Aziz's alibi that he was home when the shooting happened. We may never know who the other killers was, but the bigger question may be why this case was at least horribly flawed, and at worst, deliberately deceiving. Deborah Francois, lawyer for Islam and Aziz, told the New York Times there was a mere oversight. It wasn't a mere oversight. This was a product of extreme and gross official misconduct. While the recent inquiry found no evidence that the police or the FBI conspired to kill Malcolm X, they're going to always try to put that in there. And then they were trying to throw the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad in there. Their conduct raises important questions. Did authorities have intelligence indicating Malcolm X was mad? They were mad because Malcolm X, he was powerful. They looked at him as a radical. Was the failure to disclose the presence of undercover officers at the site of the shooting merely a security safeguard to facilitate convenient covert operations against the Nation of Islam? Is it possible those undercover officers had wanted to kill Malcolm X and did nothing to stop it from happening? So, I want to say, rest in love, Malcolm X. I believe Edgar Hoover, he was the former FBI director who ruled the agency for 40 years and was in charge when Malcolm X was killed. So, you can think about all of that stuff, and yes, the government did have something to do with his death, I believe. This is DJ April Showers, and I'm out.